Hi Summer, welcome to the studio to talk to me today. It's so lovely to have you here.
Thank you, it's a pleasure being here.
So today I wanted to talk to you about Kora and your journey from when you started to where you are today. Do you want to tell me a little bit about your journey and where it started?
So it started off as being your regular old support worker, and from there I kind of got quite a lot of referrals because of the type of quality that I provided, and I was just getting quite a lot of referrals and I needed a good team to help me out to support people. That's where it started off.
Yeah, and where are you today? How many participants do you support? What areas and what types of participants?
I am currently in the Revesby area in Bankstown, New South Wales, and I provide supports to about 50 participants, and we've got about 100 staff that we outsource as well as have internal staff as well.
And what time period has it taken you to build up to those 50 participants and 100 staff?
I think it's taken about 4 to 5 years. We have had quite a lot of clients over the couple of years, but these clients are the clients that have stayed with us for quite a long time. Most of the clients that we currently have been with us since the beginning of Kora.
Yeah, and you started doing core supports?
Yes, we started doing core supports, and then eventually we started seeing that there was a need in different parts of the industry. So for example, community access group activities, a lot of our participants were kind of getting along when we were going out to social events or having barbecues that were, just Kora related, and we thought, it would be a great idea to get a whole bunch of people together and start doing regular group activities. And then there was a lot of things that, during those discussions while I was having with participants, that they were struggling, things like with accommodation or things with supports within the home, but they didn't have quite enough funding for those types of supports. So we started looking at things like joint living with other participants and creating that kind of SIL but not SIL. It's kind of like co-living arrangement, but we also delved into SIL and started getting participants in SIL. So it was we were just falling into one thing after the other as time went past, and it just kind of naturally fell into place.
And you also do other things like support coordination and SLES.
Yes, we do support coordination and SLES. So some of our SLES programs, what we do is we do one-on-one services with our school leaving students. So we do approach a lot of the teachers and the transitional teachers at disability schools to transition students out from school to employment, and what that looks like, work experience in various different types of fields, retail, barista courses, working at a restaurant, working in security, working as an in events or anything like that. So there's a number of different opportunities there for school leavers. And support coordination, it's really funny with support coordination, because the moment we started saying that we were doing support coordination, we just got an influx of clients that had heard about the work that we do in terms of supporting people and how we can, it's just the way that we support people. I guess we're a little bit more involved and things get done, I guess. Yeah.
And it really is about your reputation, isn't it? It's really about the level of support you provide and how dedicated you are to each and every one of your participants.
Yes.
And that's kind of why you've shifted from core supports to SLES, to support coordination, to SIL, is really providing that level of support to the people that you care about and creating services around their needs.
Yes, that's right. So it's not just like we've gone into the business because we've specialized in a particular thing. Everybody's circumstance is very, very different. So if we can make it work, and the great thing about NDIS is that you can make things work for participants if you really and truly want to do something about it. So the participants that we get, some of them might come to us with, housing issues, or they might come with very little funding and they need higher support needs, or they need assistance with finding a new psychiatrist or finding a new psychologist. And it's just through casual conversations. And when you look at their NDIS plan and you look and see, they don't have any support coordination funding, or they don't have anything, you just kind of give your knowledge to these participants to say, hey, yes, this is what you need to do, or this is how you go about getting what you need to do. And then you kind of fall into that support coordination role as a core supports provider, I guess, you know, just as a sister participant, I guess.
Yeah. And what would you say are some things that you're really proud of achieving over the last few years with Kora?
The most important thing, or the most amazing thing that I've achieved with Kora is seeing the participants and where they are from where they were. A lot of them have progressed significantly with their mental health, as well as they've got very, very big goals now. Before, they didn't really have many goals, but they've got goals with, for example, I've got one participant who absolutely loves art, and he's gone from, you know, being secluded in his home to doing submissions to the New South Wales Art Gallery and getting paid for commissions, and working with the Blacktown Mental Health Hospital that's opening up and doing some artwork. A lot of the artists that do work with him want to work with him because he's got such an amazing insight to mental health, bipolar disorder, as well as what he's gone through in his life. And he's also opened up his own website, which I helped him out with, and then his business cards as well. So we helped out with a lot of those types of things, but that's one thing that's very, very amazing for our participants, obviously. And there's a number of stories. I think Kora's slogan is "Your story, our journey." And it's something that I hold very, very close to me, because it's like whenever we meet somebody, we hear about somebody's story, and then it becomes the journey of both us as being Kora and the participant in achieving the goals that they didn't know that they had, or the superhuman powers that they had that we kind of assist them with.
Help them to utilize. Amazing. What do you think is the most rewarding part of being a provider?
Honestly, the progress. I can't even say anything else. Nothing else is rewarding about it apart from seeing the progress of my clients. You know, I go off maybe for 1 or 2 weeks. I have constant communication with every single one of my participants. I always make the effort to contact them. How are you? What are you doing? They have their supports in place, and they've got their case managers that manage their things for them. But it's just nice when, you know, we might have a group activity going. I'll just turn up and then sit down with all the participants or the clients that we've got, and they'll come up to me one by one and tell me where they are at in life. For example, I've got one girl who originally, before she came to me, she was studying a TAFE certificate in animal care. It was one of those certificates, and her stepmom used to say that she couldn't do much of it, or she wasn't able to. And she decided to, after a couple of years while she was with Kora, to go back and do the TAFE course, and she's progressed so much. She's passing all her studies, she's going to TAFE, she's going to work, she's doing all these things. But this is from someone that was not doing anything to someone that's doing all these amazing things for themselves and becoming independent. Still needing supports, obviously, but it's just their mind frames have shifted from not being able to do anything to having this significant amount of power that they didn't know that they had.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And what do you think is the most challenging part of being an NDIS provider?
Honestly, if you said that to me a couple of years ago to what it is now, the most challenging thing for me when I first started was not realizing the compliance side behind what was needed to be a provider. So, you know, there's no course that tells you that you need X, Y, and Z. If you're a support worker, the compliances, when you come from a support working background, the compliances are different. You like case notes, you know, you don't know that there's like a profile of a participant that you need to do. But from a different perspective, from a support worker to a business owner, and having to create those things for the people that work for you, for example, CRM systems and incident report systems and all those things, you've got to make sure those things work for your workers. And that was the most complex side of things, as well as not knowing what's needed during an audit or what's needed during, my focus was on focusing on the participants.
Yeah.
It was coming from one mind frame to another mind frame, so it shifted quite significantly. That was the most hardest thing. Midway between work, I think the hardest thing was finding the staff members that have the same motivation and drive and ethics and morals as you do. But I've finally been able to find the right staff and find the right team, and thanks to Tania, I've learnt a lot. I really have, coming from where I first started to where I am now, what to expect from my staff, what is needed during an audit, what is needed during I think there's a lot of things. In many aspects of my life, I've gained a lot from Miss Tania Gomez.
It's funny when you talk about, what's rewarding for you is seeing your progress in your clients. I really enjoy seeing the progress in my clients, and you're probably one of the best examples of that, because when we first met, I actually met you the day before your audit.
Yeah.
And we spoke, and you thought that your audit was later on, and then when I read the documents, I was like, no, this is tomorrow. Actually, it might have been a couple of days, it might have been 2 or 3 days, but it really wasn't long, and we had a really short amount of time to do a whole lot, and it was a pretty hard experience.
It was, because the previous auditors that audited the organisation only touched and went. Like, it was just a very, very strange thing that I'd experienced. Like, it was just like, yep, everything's fine. But I like learning. So what you've given me is you've taught me, and that's something that's very valuable, because, you can't, I think, what's the saying? You can't teach the fish thing. It's like, you can't
teach an old dog new tricks.
Something like that.
You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
You can give a fish to a person and they'll eat for one day, but you can teach a person to fish and they'll eat for eternity.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that I would say that you are.
Yeah. It's that same thing that you do with your clients, right? It's building that capacity, making sure that they're understanding it, going on that journey with them.
Yeah.
As opposed to just saying this is what you need to do. It's trying to build that. And actually your team has progressed hugely as well.
Yes.
You've had new additions to your team, but even the ones who've been there with you for quite some time, since the last audit. Now when I'm doing audit prep, we're audit prepping for your next audit at the moment. And your compliance manager, you now have a compliance manager, and she's amazing. She's doing a really great job. She's really confident, and her progress has been amazing.
It is.
So it's not just your progress and you understanding it better. I think it always does come from the top. I think you role model that it's important, that it needs to happen, so that makes other people pay attention to it. But now they actually get it, and they actually understand after, a year of going back and saying, no, you need to have that in your file. Yes, you need to have that. These are the reasons you need to have that, and explaining it each time.
Yeah.
They now get it, and they go, yeah, we have that. This is where it is. This is why we need it. This is how we do it. And they're really confident. And I'm really excited to see what your next audit comes for you, because I'm really looking forward to you having a really much more positive audit experience this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely say that it also comes from you, Tania, because you have supported the guys that work with me quite a lot with your ongoing sessions with them. You have meetings with them and you go through different things with them, and I think that's such a valuable thing coming from somebody like yourself, and then being taught by somebody like you with such amazing, such a extensive amount of knowledge and experience in. And if anyone asks you a question, you know the exact answer for it, and if you don't, you'll find out within a couple of seconds, and then you'll send an email and say, yep, Summer, this is what you
yeah. And it's hard, because it's not always nice news. Very often I'm the one saying, still not good enough, guys. You're still not going to pass here. And so it can be hard for people, especially who, haven't been through audit, to really care about it. And I think, although, when I first worked with you, and because I wasn't doing sales back then, I was just doing the consulting. And when it came through, I actually called the sales team and was like, how dare you put this in my diary so close to audit? I can't do anything here. This is going to be terrible for both of us. And it would have been so much easier for me not to do it. And for, it wouldn't have been easier for you, but it would have been an experience, and you could have come back afterwards and we could have picked up the pieces. But I was like, in hindsight, I'm very thankful that we got to go through that process, because I got to learn a lot about you and, see you at your worst, as well as, now be able to see you and see that progression is really rewarding for me to go, right, this is why we do this. It's not just doing the easy ones. It's not just doing the clients that are convenient, but it's doing the clients that, for me, it's helping people learn that so that they are more confident as business people. And for you definitely are more confident now. You're making better decisions. You think about quality and compliance. You think about, governance, where, running a business as coming from a support worker background, I don't think you'd thought about, running the business and what governance meant before and what your role as a leader was. But you've really been able to step into that role as a leader, and now you do govern your business, and your team do a lot of the hard work, and you oversee it, and you know your role and they know their role.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than it was 12 months ago.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it.
So can you share any specific examples of things that you've learnt over the last few years from me or during working together?
I think I mentioned a few throughout this just before. I've actually learnt how to be a business owner from you.
Yeah.
I think, as well as learning how to, I don't know, Tania, it's like you're a mix of different things. So I can't really pinpoint what I've learnt from you, but I know that I've learnt to be a better boss.
Yeah. That's nice.
I've learnt to not just be a better boss, but be someone that can work with my staff without having to get frustrated at different things, where I could just kind of step back and say, okay, yeah, there is a solution to this problem, and take your approach to how you dealt with my situation. I think there's so many things. I can't pinpoint anything. Like I have no idea. From helping me with my audit, to understanding what's involved in my audit, to understanding what it's like to, I guess I have a really bad time with communicating with people and building relationships with people. I've gained confidence in doing that. I've gained confidence in networking with people since I've been dealing with you. I've gained confidence in hiring the right staff because of you. There's a lot of different things. I think you've done a lot for me.
Thank you. And I think we talk about lots of things as well. We don't just talk about audit. And it's funny because lots of people, I say that I'm an expert in quality and compliance, but for me, that's just the starting point and the base of running a good business, which is why I start there. But obviously I've run lots of businesses, so I like to think that I help people holistically, like you help your participants with everything they need. I try to do that. And so it's nice to hear that it's not just the audit stuff. And I mean, we talk about personal things as well. Yeah. We talk about helping you personally and, working through those leadership challenges. And I guess it's that relationship that we've built to be able to talk about anything that's affecting you in running your business.
Yeah, as well as, like, for example, I came to you and I asked you a while back that I wanted to get a new incident system, and you had this suggestion of using somebody for the system, and I had gone and got a quote. Kora is not a large company, and it could be a large company, but I choose not to because I want to have quality over a massive scale, and I had quite a lot to fix before I could allow myself to get to a larger scale, I guess. But when I went to go get an incident system, the previous incident system that I was using prior to your involvement was something that wasn't, I guess, compliant. And then I was kind of stuck on, okay, well, what kind of incident system can we use that's going to be quicker than what we're using right now?
Yeah.
And then you came up with an amazing suggestion that saved me so much money that it was insane. Like, I was looking at spending, I don't know, $20,000 to $30,000 just for a setup of a incident system, whereas you helped me cut the cost so much from that. I don't know if I can mention.
Yeah, you can mention if
So you told me about jot forms, and you got me in contact with I think Rodriguez, was it? Ron.
Yeah.
And Ron helped my team. My team got together, and we provided Ron with the forms that needed to go onto our jot forms, and he integrated it within our website, and that saved us so much more time.
Yeah.
It's so much smoother. Yeah, I think that they're things that you've done for me, as well as that I could say a lot more, but we could be sitting here for hours.
So what would you say is the best thing about working with me?
I would say having you around.
Hanging out,
chilling. But just knowing that I've got you around, Tania.
Yeah.
That if I need something, that I know you would know the answer to it. But not even that, I don't even contact you because I need anything. Sometimes I just contact you because I just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a relationship. Yeah. And I think, again, that's similar to what you create with your participants. And that's why that's important to you, is that, you have the same contact person each time. You know that I'll answer your calls, or I'll call you back as soon as possible. You've got that personal connection. And actually, you've got too many participants for me to know them all now. But during audit prep time, I know them pretty well. I know their files. I know what's in them. I know what their primary disabilities are. I know what forms should be there. So when I'm looking through them, we can go, yep, that participant, John, is missing this, this, and this, and I understand the context more, so it's easier for me to then support you than if you had someone who wasn't involved at that level, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's nice because you already have access to the file. So, like, for example, if I'm having a terrible day or something like that with one of my participants that has just gone through an experience or whatever, I'll be like, oh God, Tania, I'm just dealing with this housing crisis at the moment.
Yeah.
So, just saying that to you, and you understanding the clients that I work with, and even making little suggestions, saying Summer, make sure the risk forms or whatever that are in place, or have you done this, or have you done that, or it's just there's a lot of stuff that you've taught me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to me about your experience with TGC, and I hope that we are able to catch up again and talk about how well your audit went once it is all over.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much.